estimated to have saved nearly 12 million lives.
Like that right there is a good example. Like not everything the USA does is, not everything the USA does is bad. Okay, that's a great example of this. Spreading American goodwill is done for a nefarious purpose, but it's still actually helping people. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I suspect that they're just gonna only spread American ill will and cut out the good stuff. No more covert operations, no more influence peddling. Just straight, you do this or you die. America no longer the good guy? No, America was never the good guy. But it's more so America no longer even maintaining the aesthetic presence of being the good guy who sometimes does bad at the behest of good, okay? To trying to pick up the goodwill, China already has been doing that. Remember, in the Philippines, China sent a ton of Sinovac to the Philippines, okay? During the peak of COVID. And what did the American government do? The American CIA and the American State Department basically said, China's actually doing soft power stuff. We don't like it. Instead of actually sending, our own COVID pharmaceuticals to the Philippines, we decided to task the agency with undermining the Filipino confidence in vaccines in general. Is there an article on it? Yes, there's a Reuters article that someone in the chat immediately linked. When I mention stuff, chatters, usually my editors will slap it on to the video on YouTube. But when I'm mentioning something off Top Dome, I'm mentioning things that I've read and investigated on this broadcast, contrary to what my haters claim. If their own ineptitude causes them to not be able to figure out these things that I'm talking about, they should probably seek a little bit deeper and try to figure out where this information is coming from, instead of simply saying Hassan just lies and he's wrong all the time. Okay? That's what's so frustrating about this process, because it's much easier to just be like, Hassan is just lying and he's wrong. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find this article. They will just call your fact-dropping lies and refuse to look it up themselves. I know. And then so many people are just misguided. I'm Filipino. Well, wait, what?
With the U.S. military, USAID officials have often been first to arrive with disaster relief, providing food, water, shelter, and healthcare to allies and partners. And this just in, USAID employees are waking up this morning to an email notice telling them not to show up to work today, as Musk says he is shutting the agency down. All of this, George, is happening over the loud objections of Democratic leaders in Congress who say that Elon Musk simply does not have the authority to do what he is now doing. Well, that's but it is something remarkable when the biggest contributor to Donald Trump's campaign is now taking those actions inside the government. At the same time, tremendous unrest inside the FBI and prosecuting agents who worked on January 6th. George, it looks like a wholesale purge at the FBI. As you know, already the 8 top officials at the Federal Bureau of Investigation have either been fired or forced to resign. Now they are being asked to, the FBI is being asked to produce a list of employees who worked on any case related to January 6th. I am told this is some 6,000 FBI employees all told. All this has prompted an extraordinary email that went from the top FBI official in the New York field office saying, today we find ourselves in the middle of a battle of our own as good people are being walked out of the FBI, others are being targeted because they did their job according to law and FBI policy. That is somebody who has not yet been, or is still on the job at least.
Yeah.
Well, that is really something. We really don't know how this story is going to happen. In those first 2 weeks of the Trump administration, we've never seen this kind of scope of executive action which is going to be tested in the course and in Congress.
Oh my God. The 5 Musk says USAID is a criminal organization.
We are in today.
Just like Elon Musk did not create USAID, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him?
Are you? I have no confidence in these guys getting their shit together.
We are!
This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like.
Angry Democrats throwing a hissy fit after Elon Musk dropped the Doge hammer on the Hunter Biden of government agencies. It's called USAID.
The Hunter Biden of government agencies. Hassan is a fake liberal, fake lib. Hassan is a criminal. I mean, I'm not a liberal, so I guess you're not wrong.
And earlier, staffers got locked out of their headquarters in Washington as it gets rolled over into the State Department. The agency is supposed to oversee humanitarian development and security programs in some 120 countries and is in charge of over $70 billion of taxpayer money. But the Trump administration argues it has become a clown car of corruption. And Musk sums it up this way, quote, USAID is a criminal organization. Time for it to die. So Musk had a busy weekend too, Greg.
Yeah, this is pretty incredible. You can always judge the deception of something by the name and what the name tries to mislead you to believe. Aid is not about aid any more than the Marx Brothers wrote the Communist Manifesto. Like, you learn about stuff that you didn't really want to. Like, I didn't know what de minimis was. That sounds like a cross stitch or something, but it's like a huge deal. It's a massive deal for small businesses because
What's good, goat? Marchy Poo's here. Marchy Poo's here. We're gonna move on to a more fun portion in a second.
China ships 1.1 billion packages, through this loophole that are made in sweatshops for very low money. That stops. USAID, if you read about it,
The Meiji government outlaw carrying like
basically seems to be like it's a foot group that gives money to groups to do things that our government can't do directly. So it sounds a lot like NGOs and illegal immigration. All that money was going there. If you look at how they were affected, you find that it also don't work. Health Alliance, which was behind the COVID virus, and perhaps the pro-Hamas protesters who we're still trying to figure out the money. So I like to look at who's complaining and then work.
is supporting Hamas and also Hamas protesters.
You might see a thread between the loudest voices and the... I don't think it. So more scream.
Hey, so the data it starts at 13 years, but it goes up to 24 years.
Wake up Godzilla, lumber under the depths under the Philippine Sea.
I don't know if maybe we should.
But then it's not gonna be high school students.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was thinking, is there a way we can just extract only certain ages from this, or not?
I don't think so. I mean, you could, but only what they already have divided in sections. Let me see.
Oh yeah.
Because I tried to see if they had like 13 to 18, but it doesn't give you that option. It only lets you do 13 to 24, 25 to 34, and then so on.
I think they did that because adolescent is anyone under age 25 because the brain is still developing.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
that makes sense. So I mean, unless we do, I guess, like high school and college students.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Hide.
Be a routine assault or all right, we gotta move soon.
So the conflating, I agree with Greg and big part. Conflating what Elon Musk did over the weekend when he wanted access to Treasury Department materials and asking for USAID to shut down are two different things. He's not a government employee. And to understand how that payment process is I think we're just wrong. I think he won't win a personality contest. He will certainly win a smarts contest, an intellectual contest. I think slimming down government and continuing to make it effective, allowing it to be effective, personify we're spending less than that should be the bottom. You want to be
Why is the supposed quote unquote liberal on this? Is the quote you must fix this error immediately. We want Jessica Tarkov. We want Escape from Tarkov with Jessica Tarkov, and we want her now.
Non-government employee for these things. If this were a Democrat and they put Jeffrey Katzenberg, or they decided to put another Democrat in charge of helping to slim down the cost of government, and they did it this way, I would be critical of them saying, we'll do it this way if you want to ensure that people are ability. When USAID, I'm not interested in all of it, but you know this. There have been 20 global health outbreaks over the last many years that they have partnered with partners to try to ensure that it gets to Americans. So, malaria and polio, continent of Africa, and other places are the state. So, I don't disagree with this. Probably should not be. This is an organization that is I'll take a step back here and not be so. You know what? Here's the problem. Who tax monies should go for U.S. national interests, okay? To the extent supported by this USA organization that in 2023 spent $43 billion on global humanitarian operations. We spent some of that money on our senior citizens, on our veterans, on people in the hurricane areas. The problem with this is that this clearly, I don't care how long this agency has existed, we need information, we need transparency, and 90 days will not be a problem for the Democrats who always want transparency. No agency should be free of being monitored, and they should, the special interests end up taking over when no one is monitoring. And then when they think that no one is looking, it inevitably leads to corruption. I mean, that's how you see it something that was started out positively turns out to end up being a criminal organization. If no one's looking, that's a problem. And
did we have to include like at the very bottom the planning model? Do we have to include that?
Jordan, Somalia, Syria.
You mean the assessment of needs and then goals and objectives intervention? Is that what you mean? The 5 steps?
No. So like the generalized model.
Yeah, I think we are supposed to include that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we've been talking a little bit about how Democrats are finding ways to funnel money to their causes. Okay, this might be another place for that. So I'm okay with a pause. I do think that there are some great things that actually do help a president with national security issues for health diplomacy, for example. I think it's smart. Sports diplomacy can also be very smart. And we're really the only country in the world that people want to be like anyway. So I get that. I think putting Rubio in charge of it is a smart decision. But if you think about what the Biden administration was bragging about before they left, they were trying to get as much money out the door as possible. And it's lots of different things, green energy subsidy type things, but also, trans issues. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't get to you what Harold was talking about, which were meritorious. Polio, malaria, things like that make a lot of sense. Some of these other things get people upset, and I can understand why. I don't think Sesame Street in Iraq is probably a $5 dollar. Like, I get that. So again, I think a pause is appropriate, but that Rubio will be not like these guys are coming up on their own. And several of these things that we talked about before, Congress is derelict in its duty. Or they're shoving things into these big omnibus bills, for example, Sesame Street in Iraq. People have come up with this out of thin air. Congress has responsibility here, and they've basically been absent.
Okay, guys, just one question. The president has every right to do this, but he can't pause a law that Congress spends money. If he wants to do this, he should zero out their budgets next year.
All right, we're moving on, chat. We're moving into the RL portion of this place. I'll be back in a second. I'll see you soon. Trump is breathing tariffs.
Mexican imports. We have reporters in Mexico.
What is it, the madman theory or whatever?
Killers and
Behaving
needs.
Nixonian-like. So putting a pause on the tariffs. Oh, it didn't make any sense. I won't.
So we are waiting to see what happens, and of course, Phil, retaliatory tariffs happen. We've already heard from Canada that they're expecting to retaliate with 25% tariffs.
He was just memeing, dude. He was just memeing. Y'all don't understand. It was just meme style. He's just a little guy. Nazi German. Very different circumstances where they can set up an agenda wronged by everyone else, and that they're a powerful and mighty nation. The United States of America, albeit suffering from its own selfish nature, is in a very different circumstance than the hegemonic. So when you make the argument that like all of the everybody else, now you're in an entirely different predicament because the trade is designed in a way that benefits you. Okay? The entirety of it's like complaining about NATO, which Donald Trump does all the time. You know, said, why would you complain about NATO? It's for you. Here's the Canada call that just came in as well. Just had a good call, President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 plan order with proper technology with our American partners and personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making a commitment to appoint a federal czar. We will list all cartels and terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch the U.S. Joint Strike Force, combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money. Unorganized crime and fentanyl. You can check. Only arm. Let's get it. Or something you're being ripped off. So when you import Indian-made iPhones, the U.S. is being ripped off. I think it's also very funny that they're forcing Canada's hand into like spending money on the most nonsensical. What is it? There's like 43 kilograms of fentanyl total that was apprehended. And before people say, "Oh, dude, that's a lot of like lethal doses or whatever," no, it's not. Okay, it's nothing in comparison to the ton of drugs that are being okay. Let alone border apprehensions are not. They're probably not a long-term solution. Oh, it's 43 pounds, not even 43 kilograms. That's so crazy. Is this an L or a W for Trump? It's a secret third thing. It's not an L. It's not a thing. Third thing. Okay? That's what it's for Trump. Stop, because he didn't do it. He did it but create simultaneously fix the problem. No problem existed in the beginning.
Everyone in Canada watching this knows what I say is true. This is tragic for no reason. No excuse here for us to do this to Canada. And with Mexico, again, you don't want to treat your partners and your neighbors this way. By the way, it's disgusting to watch Trump constantly threaten Canada and Mexico.
Damn, this guy loves Canada, bro. Why don't you marry him? Okay, calm down. It's disgusting what we've done to our best friend Canada. Dude, these are ridiculous things that Donald Trump has done. Thank you. He did it again. Think about it, the more where he would just be like, I'm gonna shake things up a little bit, and then he would break something for no reason, and then quote unquote seemingly fix it, just reversing the previous decision to break something that makes no sense to break. You know what I mean? And the tariff thing just simply did not make sense. Like when I say no reason, seriously, yes, no reason. Dude, come on. Dude, you think there was a valid reason to apply tariffs to 55% of our trade partners? Like our partners that comprise 55% of all trade? Like what's the severe problem? Tariffs have to be hyper specific. They have to be hyper targeted. They have to be done. They have to be applied in a way that benefits domestic manufacturing in a key sector. Okay? You can't just be like, oh, I'm doing complete trade tariffs. All tariffs. It doesn't make sense. If you do that for anything but an economic reason, it has to be ginormous. I mean, like, counter tariff, perfectly reasonable. It was a counter tariff. It is a retaliatory tariff. Yes, that is an appropriate way to do tariffs. You're hitting the nuclear option because your psychotic neighbor decided to go after you for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that is logical because notice how that's a defensive posture there. It's basically to say, hey, we'll make your economy scream as well. We'll make sure that your key businesses are undermined. We'll lower trade from you, and we'll go trade with Canada instead. That's it. That makes a lot more sense than being the United States of America who kickstarts the tariffs to begin with. Also, it seemingly worked, you know, considering that Donald Trump backed down and put a pause on the tariffs anyway. But what are you talking about? Your Nixonian madman theory might be right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He's basically saying, like, I'm insane, okay? Don't mess with me, I guess. It seems like this must be a negotiation tactic since it sounds so insane. My friends in the Canadian government have told me that he hasn't made any other actual demand. This is what I'm saying. There's no real reason for it, okay? There's no real reason. It just doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. Has he absolutely lost his mind? I don't know. He's trying something now. Seeing what sticks, I guess. I don't know. Because this is the other side of the story, is that, like, when asked why he's doing this, because people kept saying, like, why are you doing this? He just kept saying tariffs is the best word in the English language. Like, what? Tariffs, my favorite word. Best word in the English language. No better word than tariffs. And then they'd be like, why are you doing this to Canada? And he'd be like, drugs. Canada's left. Snow Mexico! We have Mexico on the southern border, snow Mexicans on the north. We must stop them. He just needed something to run on as an answer to his basic political garbage. No one else.
But Team Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection. We don't need them to build our cars. I'd rather see Detroit or South Carolina.
Another part of the story that I'm a little bit alarmed by is the Republican reaction to it. The Republicans have been just like begging to invade Canada in this process. Like we all went from like, haha, that's not going to happen, to like Republicans be like, no, we actually want to kill Canadians. Like, can we please annex Canada? And pretty quickly, it happened overnight. It is a bit alarming. Despite its proximity, Canada has still been able to maintain some semblance of social safety nets. They have a litany of their own personal issues, but I will admit that I think they're better off without us, and that they should not be destroyed by our sweet, sweet freedom of private enterprise. I really, really, really think that it would be devastating, and it would be cruel and unusual for Canada to become a part of America, no matter how much dumbass Albertans wish them to upon their own people. Canada, get behind me. All Canadians, get behind me. Stand back, stand by. Do everything in your power to ensure that you are not destroyed by the United States of America. After we destroy the Canadian economy, their will to resist will run up. We will then march in unopposed and deliver Canada into a direct location territory of the U.S. with no political representation. That's part of the concession that both Mexico and Canada gave today, that both of them are pre-promised stuff they already talked about last year and sold them to Trump as a win for him. Now they gave basically nothing in his money. Yeah, but it also still doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as to why it happened to begin with.
You see, one of our states build their cars, they can do it very easily. We don't need them for the cars. We don't need them for lumber. We don't need them for anything. We don't need them for energy. We have more energy than they do. We don't need them for energy.
This is, you're right. Every time I see hair on television, everyone says like, "Oh, dude, what the f are terrorists?" Everybody started googling terrorists. I am reminded like and the impact of government action until that government action is about to impact their lives, or that government action has impacted their lives. Okay, it's the reason why well, you don't understand. Like, you want to kill every Mexican. It's like, wait till it, and then you'll go, oh, everyone's and this is not just America. It happened with Brexit. This is just the okay Western world, but this is just how it is. How many times does something happen for you guys to go, okay, polling on are not necessarily the most comprehensive way of approaching the subject matter, not necessarily the best way of seeing how the people are going to react to something once it happens. Look at the TikTok ban. Americans wanted the TikTok ban at the time when the legislation was happening. It's like, no, they didn't. Okay, they did not. They did not. Number. Goddamn application. Why would they want their trees taken away until something happens? Most Americans are not going to reckon with the reality of it. Okay. Also, it doesn't really matter because the American government doesn't operate on this popular democracy anyway. It's not the American government goes, oh wow, this particular thing is very popular. Let's do this. You would what the American is going to do is look at something with broad popularity and then expect the government to do the exact opposite of that thing that is broadly popular. How it works. Oh my god. Always and forever and consistently. It sucks. But here it is. Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. Okay? Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. They are terrified of Trump's tariffs. It's like, yeah, how many on the street interviews do we see of people just being like, nah, you don't understand, brother. Tariffs are going to be great. And prices are going to go down with the tariffs. It's like, what? How? Your expectation is the opposite of what is supposed to happen. If broad tariffs are implemented on 55%, 60% of our trade partners, all trade. It's the exact opposite. Is there a particular reason? Do you want to move all trade to India? Is that what it is? Or Vietnam or something? Like, have you set this up already ahead of time? Do you have a competent, competitive domestic industry that will keep up with demand? Do you have a way of ensuring price stability so that the competent domestic manufacturing increases production in a way to keep up with the demand without increasing the prices on the consumer side? No. If the answer is no to all of these things, what the f are you doing? Like, oh, well, Trump said it's gonna be good, so I think it's gonna be good. Oh no, what has happened? Where my egg gone? What is everything so expensive? Why is everything getting more and more expensive? I don't understand it. And then in the process, some people are going to turn around and say, it's actually patriotic to pay more for the price of eggs, brother. Goddamn lip card, you don't understand. America #1, okay? And then the other people are going to look at the situation and go, it's because of black people working in the factories. That's why. DEI upholstery facility is what caused the bird flu, avian flu, they're calling it, which is also simultaneously woke and gay and made up, but also a devastating virus caused by the Chinese. None of it makes sense. All of it is politics and resentment. None of it makes sense. There is no logic behind it. There's no critical thinking. Barely any literacy in this goddamn country. I don't know what to say. Bro, I got family with accounting degrees that still believe what Trump says about tariffs. I don't understand. Is macro econ not like a part of the conversation? What is happening? In order to become a CPA, you definitely have to have a basic understanding of this sort of stuff. Dude, why? Accounting is microeconomics? What are you talking about? You still need to take macro. What are you saying? Macroecon in college is fake and lip coded. It's literally, I took principles of macroeconomics in college. What is insane about this process is I shouldn't be defending it, okay? they should be defending, okay? They should be saying the words that are coming out of my mouth. If you're an accountant, you should be like, what the this is so dumb. I took a basic macro course in college before I got my accounting license, okay? So I'm somewhat familiar with what is going on. That's the conversation that should be taking place. Why am I defending it? It doesn't make sense. 22 Egg Watch currently, oh my God, 812. Are there even eggs in any of the grocery stores right now in America? Because I've been eating a ton of eggs out here, whether it be a tamago santo or whether it be when I go to a sukiyaki place and I dip my wagyu in it. You know, it's amazing. It's going to be really horrible when I come back to the United States and realize that eggs don't even exist on the shelves anymore because of the goddamn avian flu. And it's good that we've destroyed the FDA, the CDC, and the NIH. So that's cool. I guess when you kill the institutions that are supposed to inform the public about these sorts of things, then no one really knows what's going on, and they just simply don't have eggs on the shelves. And then people go, oh, these eggs must be flying off the shelves because it's so cheap, I think. And I can never seem to find some eggs because Donald Trump brought forth the most bountiful with his incredible leadership. Donald Trump, once again, brought such bounties upon the American public. We have been visited by good fortune. The real golden age of eggs is upon
us. Everyone's talking about deep sea. Satya Nadella, Microsoft.
I think deep sea can help them.
Trump is freezing the tariffs, breaking news. Let's get to
Announced he will pause the 25% tariffs on Mexican imports. We have reporters in Mexico City and in the North Lawn of the White House.
I'm glad that he's at least putting a pause on it, and it was just what is this, the madman theory or whatever? He was behaving Nixonian-like. So he's putting a pause on the tariffs. Oh, I'm pausing them. It didn't make any sense.
So we're waiting to see what happens, and of course, retaliatory tariffs happen. We've already heard from Canada that they're expecting to retaliate with 25% tariffs.
He was just meme, dude. He was just meme. Y'all don't understand. He was just meme style. He's just a little guy. Not featured. Post-war. He's slighted by the rest of us. Right? The economy's in a very different set of circumstances where they can set up an agenda that they've been wronged by everyone else and that they're powerful in my nation. The United States of America, albeit suffering a little bit due to its own selfish nature, is in a very different circumstance as the hegemonic superpower. So when you make the argument that like all of our international countries are screwing us over, we are the ones that are constantly being screwed over by everybody else, and that's why we must take action against this sort of thing. You're in an entirely different predicament because the entirety of the global trade is designed in a way that benefits you. Okay? The entirety of global trade benefits the United States of America. It's like complaining about NATO, which Donald Trump does all the time as well. It makes no sense. Why would you complain about NATO when NATO is there for you? It's stupid. That's my point. Here's the Canada call that just came in as well. Just had a good call, President Trump. Canada's deploying our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new shoppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making to the point fentanyl is our all cartels terrorists ensure 24/7. Launch 10 U.S. strike force, combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl. We'll be back in with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. The most giga-chat thing is Claudia made Trump admit the cartels are only armed because of the American weapons. Latina state winning, and Claudia is great. That's not famously when you import something, you're being ripped off. So when you import ETA-made iPhones, the U.S. is being ripped off. I think it's also very funny that they're forcing Canada's hand into like spending money on the most nonsensical. What is it? It's like 43 kilograms of fentanyl total that was apprehended. And before people say, "Oh, dude, that's a lot of like lethal doses or whatever," no, it's not. Okay, it's nothing in comparison to the metric ton of drugs that are being trafficked over the border. Okay, let alone border apprehensions are not. They're probably not a lot. 43 pounds, not even 43 kilograms. That's so crazy. Is it an L or a W for Trump? It's a secret third thing. It's not an L, it's not a W. It's just like a secret third thing. Okay? That's what it is for Donald Trump. It's not a W because he did the classic, like, create a problem and then simultaneously fix the problem. No problem existed in the beginning.
Trust the ally. Everyone in the packages knows that it's true. This is nothing. No reason. No excuse for this. It's disgusting to watch. Constantly
Dave's got close to him. I want to marry him. Okay, calm down. It's disgusting what we've done to our best friend candidate. It is a ridiculous thing to Donald Trump. He did it again, man. The Mad Lad did it. The more I think about it, the funnier it gets. Donald Trump used to do this all the time. I guess we forgot. Or he would just be like, I'm gonna shake things up a little bit. And then he would break something for no reason. And then quote unquote seemingly fix it, just reversing the previous decision to break something that makes no sense to break. You know what I mean? And the tariff thing just simply did not make sense. Like when I say no reason, seriously, yes. No reason. Dude, come on. Dude, you think there was a valid reason to apply tariffs to 55% of our trade partners? Like,
because
our partners that comprise 55% of all trade? Like, what's the severe problem? Tariffs have to be hyper-specific. They have to be hyper-targeted. They have to be done. They have to be applied in a way that benefits the domestic manufacturing in a key sector. Okay? You can't just be like, oh, I'm doing complete trade tariffs with all tariffs. It doesn't make sense. If you do that for anything but an economic reason, it has to be ginormous. I mean, like Canada did. Yeah, no, that's a great example. Canada's counter tariffs are perfectly reasonable. It was a counter tariff. It is a retaliatory tariff. Yes, that is an appropriate way to do tariffs. You're hitting the nuclear option because your psychotic neighbor decided to go after you for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that is logical. Because notice how that's a defensive posture there. Basically to say, hey, we'll make your economy scream as well. We'll make sure that your key businesses are undermined. We'll lower trade and we'll go trade with Canada instead. That's it. That makes a lot more sense than being the United States of America who kickstarts the tariffs to begin with. Also, it seemingly worked, you know, considering that Donald Trump backed down and put a pause on the tariffs anyway. But what are you talking about? Your Nixonian madman theory might be right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He's basically saying, like, I'm insane, okay? Don't mess with me, I guess. It seems like there's supposed to be a negotiation tactics. It sounds so insane, but the Canadian government told me that he hasn't privately conveyed any other actual demands. This is what I'm saying. There's no real reason for it, okay? There's no real reason. It just doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. Is he absolutely lost his mind? I don't know. He's trying to see what sticks, I guess. I don't know. Because this is the other side of the story. Is that, like, when asked why he's doing this, because people kept saying, like, why are you doing this? And he just kept saying tariffs is the best word. Like, what? Tariffs, my favorite word. Best word? No better word than tariff.
So I think the questions are good to go. Let's see. I was doing some like grammar corrections. Yeah, I think the questions are fine. You guys can go ahead and I don't know if she's looking for like maybe longer answers.
No, she said it's gonna be 2-page double spaced. I don't think so. There will be like longer answers.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Because I remember she said she wants it to look tidy, but let me double check.
A part of America, no matter how much dumbass get behind me. I'll protect you. Okay? Canadians, get behind me. Stand back, stand by. It's everything in my power to ensure that you are not destroyed by the United States of America. After we destroy the Canadian economy, their will to resist will not. We will then march in unopposed and deliver Canada into its rightful place in the territory of the U.S. with no political representation. The best part of the concession that both Mexico and Canada gave today are that both of them are pre-promised stuff they already talked about last year. So the Trump is a win for him. Now they gave basically nothing. It was funny. Yeah, but it also still doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as to why it happened to begin with. It did not need to happen.
So she just mentioned to move the directions. Use Arial times New Roman and font size 10, 11, or 12.
Did she mention about double spaced?
She said double or single is fine.
Yeah.
There are no tariffs. So I'd love to see that. But some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right.
But most people hear tariff, they think about how it sounds like sugar and caffeine combined. Delicious. It's deadly. You're right. It is an interesting take that I hadn't thought of. Paraphrasing Howard Stern's mother, something horrible has happened. That's how most Americans feel about Trump tariffs. They don't like them. Wait, what? Why? Dude. Every time I see Harry Enton on television showcasing polls, and virtually everyone says like, "Oh, dude, what the f are tariffs?" Everybody started Googling tariffs. I am reminded the thing that I tell you all the time. Okay, Americans are very stupid. Americans are very stupid. Americans don't understand the impact of government action until that government action is about to impact their lives, or that government action has impacted their lives. Okay, this is precisely the reason why I laugh whenever people go, "Well, you don't understand, like 56% of Americans want to kill every Mexican." It's like, yeah, okay, dude, sure, all right. Wait till it starts happening, and then you'll go, "Oh, everyone's Googling why the American government is killing Mexicans." It's the same. And this is not just America. It happened with Brexit. This is just the global population, okay? Specifically, or especially in the Western world. But this is just how it is. How many times does something happen for you guys to go, okay, maybe polling on issues like this are not necessarily the most comprehensive way of approaching the subject matter. Not necessarily the best way of seeing how people are going to react to something once it happens. Look at the TikTok ban. Americans wanted the TikTok ban at the time when the legislation was happening. It's like, no, they didn't. Okay, they did not. They did not. Look at the numbers. You've got 150 million people using this goddamn application. Why would they want their treats taken away? Until something happens, most Americans are not going to reckon with the reality of it. Okay? Also, it doesn't really matter because the American government does not actually operate on the basis of popular democracy anyway. It's not like the American government goes, "Oh wow, this particular thing is very popular, let's do it." They do the exact opposite more consistently. You would have an easier time understanding what the American government is going to do if you were to look at something with like broad popularity and then expect the government to do the exact opposite of that thing that is broadly popular. And that's how it works. Oh my God. It sucks. But here it is. Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. Okay? Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. They are terrified of Trump's tariffs. Like, yeah, no, how many on the street areas do we see of people being like, "Nah, you don't understand, brother. Tariffs are gonna be great. Egg prices are gonna go down with the tariffs." It's like, what? How? Your expectation is the opposite of what is supposed to happen. If broad tariffs are implemented on 55%, 60% of our trade partners, all trade. It's the exact opposite. Is there a particular reason? Do you want to move all trade to India? Is that what it is? Or Vietnam or something? Like, have you set this up already ahead of time? Do you have a competent, competitive domestic industry that will keep up with the additional demand? Do you have a way of ensuring price stability so that the competent domestic manufacturing increases production in a way to keep up with the demand without increasing the prices on the consumer side? No. If the answer is no to all of these things, what the f are you do it. Like, oh, well, Trump said it's gonna be good, so I think it's gonna be good. Oh no, what has happened? Where are my eggs gone? What is everything so expensive? Why is everything getting more and more expensive? I don't understand it. And then in the process, some people are going to turn around and say it's actually patriotic to pay more for the price of eggs for the basic goddamn libtard. You don't understand. America number one. Okay? And then the other people are going to look at the situation and go, it's because of black people working in the factories. That's why DEI poultry facilities would cause the bird flu, avian flu they're called with it, which is also simultaneously woke and gay and made up, but also a devastating virus caused by the Chinese. None of it makes sense. All of this politics of resentment and spite. None of it makes sense. There's no logic behind it. There's no critical thinking. Barely any literacy in this goddamn country. I don't say, oh, I got 50 degrees, I still believe what Trump says about it. I don't understand. Is macroecon not like a part of the conversation? What is happening? In order to become a CPA, you definitely have to have a basic understanding of this sort of stuff. Why? Accounting, microeconomics. What are you talking about? You still need to take macro. What are you saying? Macroeconomic causes fake and lip coded. It's literally. I took principles of macroeconomics in college. What is insane about this process is I shouldn't be defending, okay? They should be defending, okay? They should be saying the words that are coming out of my mouth. If you're an accountant, you should be like, what the? This is so dumb. I took a basic macro course in college before I got my accounting license, okay? So I'm somewhat familiar with what is going on. That's the conversation that should be taking place. Why am I defending?
Wait, so are we done with it, or are you guys still, or do we still need to work on the framework?
Are there even eggs in any of the grocery stores right now in America? Whether it be a Tomato Santo or whether it be
I think we are done with it for framework. I think it's good.
It's amazing. It's going to be really horrible when I come back to the United States and realize that eggs don't even exist on the shelves anymore because of the goddamn game.
Are we supposed to send this document
You destroyed the
as in like assignment, or do we need to do it like different document?
Yeah, I think we submit this one, but I think only one person has to.
Yeah, only one person.
These eggs must be flying off the shelves because it's so cheap, I think. And I can never seem to find some eggs because Donald Trump brought forth the most bountiful, with his incredible leadership. Donald Trump once again brought such bounties upon the American public. We have been visited by good fortune. The real golden age of eggs is upon us.
You know, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta?
You know, I think there's a number of novel things that they did that I think we're still digesting, and there are a number of things that they have advances. Trump is raising the tariffs, news, 25% tariffs. On the White House. I'm glad that he's at least putting a pulse on it, and it was just him being what is it, the madman theory or whatever.
I think we are done. But we should submit it on Sunday or Saturday. Before that, we have like a couple of time if we need to add or need something.
With 25% tariffs.
He was just memeing, dude. He was just memeing.
I mean, yeah, it looks fine to me. We just gotta like make sure it looks nice.
Yeah.
Very different set of circumstances where they can set up an agenda that they've been wronged by everyone else, and that they're a powerful nation. The United States of America, albeit suffering a little bit due to its own selfish nature, is in a very different circumstance as the hegemonic superpower. So when you make the argument that like all of the other international countries are screwing us over, we are the ones that are constantly being screwed over by everybody else, and that's why we must take action against this sort of thing. You're in an entirely different predicament because the entirety of the global trade is designed in a way that benefits you, okay? the entirety of global trade benefits the United States of America. It's like complaining about NATO, which Donald Trump does all the time as well. It makes no sense. Why would you complain about NATO when NATO is there for you? It's stupid. That's my point. Here's the Canada call that just came in as well. Just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to when fentanyl are. We will list all cartels and terrorists, issue 24/7 eyes on the border. Launch Canada U.S. Joint Strike Force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. Have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl. We'll be backing in with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. The most giga chat thing is Claudia made Trump admit the cartels are only arming the American weapons trade. Latina state winning. Yeah, Claudia was great. Stop fixing when you import something you're being ripped off. So when you import Indian-made iPhones, the U.S. is being ripped off. I think it's also very funny that they're forcing Canada's hand into like spending money on the most nonsensical. What is it? It's like 43 kilograms of fentanyl total that was apprehended. And before people say, "Oh, dude, that's a lot of like lethal doses, whatever." No, it's not. Okay, it's nothing in comparison to the metric ton of drugs that are being trafficked. Okay. Let alone border apprehensions are not. They're probably not a long-term solution. Oh, it's 43 pounds, not even 43 kilograms. That's so crazy. Is this an L or a W for Trump? It's a secret third thing. It's not an L and it's not a W. It's just like a secret third thing, okay? That's what it is for Donald Trump. It's not a W because he didn't do it. He did the classic, like, create a problem and then simultaneously fix the problem. No problem existed in the beginning.
With our trusted ally, Canada, everyone in Canada watching this knows what I say is true. This is tragic for no reason, no excuse here for us to do this to Canada. But with Mexico, again, you don't want to treat your partners and your neighbors this way. By the way, it's disgusting to watch Trump constantly threaten Canada and Mexico.
Damn, this guy loves Canada, bro. Why don't you marry it? Okay, calm down. It's disgusting what we've done to our best friend Canada. Dude, these are ridiculous things that Donald Trump is. He did it again, man. The mad lad did it. The more I think about it, the funnier it gets. Donald Trump used to do this all the time. I guess we forgot. Or he would just be like, I'm going to shake things up a little bit. And then he would break something for no reason. And then, quote unquote, seemingly fix it. Just reversing the previous decision to break something that makes no sense to break. You know what I mean? And the tariff thing just simply did not make sense. Like when I say no reason, seriously, yes. No reason. Dude, come on. Come on, dude. You think there was a valid reason to apply tariffs to 55% of our trade partners? Like, our partners that comprise 55% of all trade? Like, what's the severe problem? Tariffs have to be hyper-specific. They have to be hyper-targeted. They have to be done. They have to be applied in a way that benefits domestic manufacturing in a key sector. Okay, you can't just be like, oh, I'm doing complete trade tariffs, like all tariffs. It doesn't make sense. If you do that for anything but an economic reason, it has to be ginormous. You mean like Canada did? Yeah, no, that's a great example. Canada's counter tariffs are perfectly reasonable. It was a counter tariff. It is a retaliatory tariff. Yes, that is an appropriate way to do tariffs. You're hitting the nuclear option because your psychotic neighbor decided to go after you for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that is logical because notice how that's a defensive posture there. It's basically to say, hey, we'll make your economy scream as well. We'll make sure that your key businesses are undermined. We'll lower trade from you and we'll go trade with Canada instead. That's it. That makes a lot more sense than being the United States of America who kickstarts the tariffs to begin with. Also, it seemingly worked, you know, considering that Donald Trump backed down and put a pause on the tariffs anyway. But what are you talking about? Your Nixonian madman theory might be right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He's basically saying, like, I'm insane. Okay, don't mess with me. I guess it seems like this must be a negotiation tactic. This sounds so insane. My friends in the Canadian government have told me that he hasn't privately conveyed any other actual demands. This is what I'm saying. There's no real reason for it. Okay, there's no real. It just doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. Is he absolutely lost his mind? I don't know. He's just trying something out, seeing what sticks. I guess. I don't know, because this is the other side of the story. Is that like when asked why he's doing this, because people kept saying like, "Why are you doing this?" And he just kept saying, "Tariffs is the best word in the English language." Like what? Tariffs, my favorite word, best word in the English language. No better word than tariffs. And then they'd be like, why are you doing this to Canada? And he'd be like, drugs. Canada's letting fentanyl come over the border. Snow Mexico! We have Mexico at the southern border, snow Mexicans on the north. We must stop them. Just need something to run on as an answer who's basic and easily implement a rollback with no one else's input.
See Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection. We don't need them to build our cars. I'd rather see Detroit or South Carolina.
Another part of the story that I'm a little bit alarmed by is the Republican reaction to it. The Republicans have been just like begging to invade Canada in this process. Like we all went from like, haha, that's not going to happen, to like Republicans be like, no, we actually want to kill Canadians. Like, can we please annex Canada? And it happened relatively quickly. It happened overnight. It is a bit alarming. Despite its proximity, Canada has still been able to maintain some semblance of social safety nets. They have a litany of their own personal issues, but I will admit that I think they're better off without us, and that they should not be destroyed by our sweet, sweet freedom of private enterprise. I really, really, really think that it would be devastating, and it would be cruel and unusual for Canada to become a part of America, no matter how much dumbass Albertans wish that. Canada, get behind me. I'll protect you, okay? Canadians, get behind me. Stand back, stand by. I'll do everything in my power to ensure that you are not destroyed by the United States of America. Look at this dipshit. After we destroy the Canadian economy, their will to resist will erode. We will then march in unopposed and deliver Canada into its rightful place in the territory of the U.S. with no political representation. The best part of the concessions that both Mexico and Canada gave today are that both of them are pre-promised stuff they already talked about last year and sold them to Trump as a win for him. The amount they gave him basically nothing in his money. Yeah, but it also still doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as to why it happened to begin with. It did not need to happen.
Tennessee, any one of our states build the cars. They could do it very easily. We don't need them for the cars. We don't need them for lumber. We don't need them for anything. We don't need them for energy. We have more energy than they do. We don't need them for energy. So I say, why are we doing this? Why are we willing to lose between $100 billion and $200 billion a year? We don't need that. As a state, it's different. As a state, it's much different, and there are no tariffs. So I'd love to see that, but some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right.
When most people hear tariff, they think about how it sounds like sheriff and taffy combined. Delicious. Yet deadly. You're right. That is an interesting take that I hadn't thought of. Paraphrasing Howard Stern's mother, something horrible has happened. That's how most Americans feel about Trump tariffs. They don't like them. Wait, what? Why? Dude, every time I see Harry Ensign on television showcasing polls, and virtually everyone says like, oh, dude, what the f*** are tariffs? Everybody started Googling tariffs. I am reminded of the thing that I tell you all the time, okay? Americans are very stupid. Americans are very stupid. Americans don't understand the impact of government action until that government action is about to impact their lives, or that government action has impacted their lives. Okay? This is precisely the reason why I laugh whenever people go, well, you don't understand, like 56% of Americans want to kill every Mexican. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, sure. All right? Wait till it starts happening, and then you'll go, oh, everyone is Googling why the American government is killing Mexicans. It's the same. And this is not just America. It happened with Brexit. This is just the global population, okay? Specifically, or especially in the Western world. But this is just how it is. How many times does that have to happen for you guys to go, okay, maybe polling on issues like this are not necessarily the most comprehensive way of approaching the subject matter. Not necessarily the best way of seeing how the people are going to react to something once it happens. Look at the TikTok ban. Americans wanted the TikTok ban at the time when the legislation was happening. It's like, no, they didn't. Okay, they did not. They did not. Look at the. No, numbers. You got 170 million people using this goddamn application. Why would they want their treats taken away? Until something happens, most Americans are not going to reckon with the reality of it, okay? Also, it doesn't really matter because the American government does not actually operate on the basis of popular democracy anyway. It's not like the American government goes, oh, wow, this particular thing is very popular, let's do it. They do the exact opposite more consistently. You would have an easier time understanding what the American government is going to do if you were to look at something with like broad popularity and then expect the government to do the exact opposite of that thing that is broadly popular. And that's how it works. Oh my God. Always and forever and consistently. It sucks. But here it is. Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are, okay? Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. They are terrified of Trump's tariffs. It's like, yeah, no, how many on the street interviews that we see of people just being like, nah, you don't understand, brother. Tariffs are gonna be great. Egg prices are gonna go down with the tariffs. It's like, what? How? Your expectation is the opposite of what is supposed to happen. If broad tariffs are implemented on 55%, 60% of our trade partners, all trade, it's the exact opposite. Is there a particular reason? Do you want to move all trade to India? Is that what it is? Or Vietnam or something? Like, have you set this up already ahead of time? Do you have a competent, competitive domestic industry that will keep up with the additional demand? Do you have a way of ensuring price stability so that the competent domestic manufacturing increases production in a way to keep up with the demand without increasing the prices on the consumer side? No. If the answer is no to all of these things, what the f are you doing? Like, oh, well, Trump said it's gonna be good, so I think it's gonna be good. Oh no, what has happened? Where are my egg gone? Why is everything so expensive? Why is everything getting more and more expensive? I don't understand it. And then in the process, some people are going to turn around and say, it's actually patriotic to pay more for the price of eggs, brother. You goddamn libtard, you don't understand. America number one, okay? And then the other people are going to look at the situation and go, it's because of black people working in the factories. That's why DEI in my poultry facility is what caused the bird flu, avian flu they're calling it, which is also simultaneously woke and gay and made up, but also a devastating virus caused by the Chinese. None of it makes sense. All of it is politics of resentment and spite. None of it makes sense. There is no logic behind it. There's no critical thinking, barely any literacy in this goddamn country. I don't know what to say. Bro, I got family with accounting degrees that still believe what Trump says about tariffs. I don't understand. Is macro econ not like a part of the conversation? What is happening? In order to become a CPA, you definitely have to have a basic understanding of this sort of stuff. Dude, why? Accounting is microeconomics? What are you talking about? You still need to take macro? What are you saying? Macroecon in college is fake and lip coded. It's literally, I took principles of macroeconomics in college. What is insane about this process is I shouldn't be defending it, okay? They should be defending, okay? They should be saying the words that are coming out of my mouth. If you're an accountant, you should be like, what the this is so dumb. I took a basic macro course in college before I got my accounting license. Somewhat familiar with what is going on. That's the conversation that should be taking place. Why am I defending it? It doesn't make sense. 22 Egg Watch currently, oh my God, 812. Are there even eggs in any of the grocery stores right now in America? Because I've been eating a ton of eggs out here, whether it be a tamago sando or whether it be when I go to a sukiyaki place and I dip my wagyu in it. You know, it's amazing. It's good to be really horrible when I come back to the United States and realize that eggs don't even exist on the shelves anymore because of the goddamn avian flu. And it's good that we've destroyed the FDA, the CDC, and the NIH. So that's, I guess, when you kill the institutions that are supposed to inform the public about these sorts of things, then no one really knows what's going on, and they just simply don't have eggs on the shelves. And then people go, oh, these eggs must be flying off the shelves because it's so cheap, I think. And I can never seem to find some eggs because Donald Trump brought forth the most bountiful, with his incredible leadership. Donald Trump once again brought such bounties upon the American public. We have been visited by good fortune. The real golden age of eggs is upon us.
ABC.
This podcast contains audio advertising. To hear it without ads, head to the ABC Listen app now. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business, less time doing the admin. I can see what the thoughts are. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com. Meet the mischievous new class of muster dogs. Chewing the mind. Brace for double the trouble because it's collies and kelpies. What do you think? Stream the new season of Muster Dogs, Collies and Kelpies, where it's always free, always entertaining. ABC iTunes.
ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music, and more.
How does a person go from totally healthy, no history of mental illness, young and fit, to all of a sudden, one day, psychotic?
I had never felt like that in my life, and I didn't know why. So I rang up whatever Greek person does is he like you ring up your mother and you say, I don't feel good, can you pick me up from work?
But even stranger, how is it that a person can eventually return to normal, so to speak, with no ongoing changes to their mental health? This is the story of one young man's sudden, completely unexpected experience of psychosis.
It's not a story you often hear because of how abrupt it happened and for no reason.
This is All in the Mind. I'm Sana Kadar. Today, what it's like to experience psychosis for the first time, and how to support a loved one through it. I'll just give you a start by introducing yourself. So your name, whatever else you want to say to introduce yourself. What do you do?
Okay, my name's Harry Jordan. Don't be fooled by the Anglo-Saxon sounding names. What's your name is?
Wow.
And I live in St. George Illawarra region, but I don't go for the Dragons, I go for the Roosters. I'm 30 years old, which frightens me every day, but that's okay.
What did you just say in Greek?
My name, Charalambos, Harry Jordanidis Jordan.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I never knew that Harry Jordan couldn't sound like that.
Well, yeah, it's my grandfather's name, so when he came across it, it could not be pronounced, and here we are.
Okay, nice. What were you like as a teenager?
Normal, I guess, is probably a good way to put it. I had a great childhood and had a great teenagehood. Did a lot of sport, did a lot of musicals, did a lot of drama. I'm not too dissimilar to who I am now as a person.
So, did you struggle with your mental health at all before anything happened?
No, zero. Nothing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I turned 18 when I was in year 12, and then in that period of time when you finished school and before some people go to uni, it's the best time of your life, right? You finish school and you're stoked, and whatever the next chapter of your adult life is they're really looking forward to it. So the January had come around and I was about to start university in February, and I was just out with some friends one night and I didn't feel right and I didn't know what was going on. And the next morning I woke up and, you know, when you don't feel right in the morning, maybe you go for a swim or you have a shower or something. So I went for a swim and I still didn't feel right, but I just didn't know what it was. I couldn't place, you know, my feelings. And I went to work that day and I went on the train to go to work and I still didn't feel right, couldn't place it. So I rang up what any Greek person does is you ring up your mother and you say, I don't feel good, can you pick me up from work? Obviously, for my mum, that was a sign that something wasn't quite right with her otherwise beautiful baby boy. And so I went home and that feeling of anxiety, paranoia that I'd never felt before did not really spiraling. So I went to hospital that night.
So,
They sort of,
see, what else has to be done?
sort of said what was going on.
Harry didn't know it yet, but he was experiencing psychosis, which is a loss of touch with reality.
The doctors, the triage people said, we'll be drugged. You know, do drug tests and whatnot, but we can't do it right now. And once again, I said, I'm a Greek.
It looks fine to me.
Where's the name?
Take any of this as an answer because I was perfectly normal Harry
Our names.
12 hours before that. And so
Oh yeah,
she
her
screwed the
names.
house down, and so
Yeah, and before submitting, just check the rubric for the marks distribution.
she passed out after hearing that. So,
Like there's a criteria for marks distribution.
but like I was
Oh,
already
Yeah.
let me see.
For example, the doctor who was there took my blood, and I couldn't feel the needle. I just couldn't feel anything. I had already thought that this hospital wasn't real. My mind was just falling apart. I had no idea why. So it was really abrupt, which was
I think we should make the title.
a good thing because within 12 hours of feeling normal and then not, I was in
There
hospital.
is no title even.
Oh yeah,
Let me
I forgot.
send you the rubric
Incredible, really, that you
in
can
the
go
chat.
through a lifetime of having no problems.
I don't think
Takes
she,
12 hours.
I think she just has it on the 12.
And it took me a while to work all of that out and to come to terms with it. Because when you're 18, you don't know much about anything. And you think, like this happens for a reason. Like I'm a bad person or whatever. Because we couldn't find a reason.
Harry's story is pretty unusual. The fact that he would experience psychosis with no prior mental ill health and how it came on so suddenly, but the fact that his first brush with psychosis was as a young person, that is not unheard of.
Yeah, so that's the kind of time that most people do have their first episode, so around 20, so 18 to 25, sometimes up to 30, much less likely to have that from age 40 onwards.
This is Dr. Ellie Brown, a senior research fellow and counseling psychologist at the University of Melbourne and Origin, the Centre for Youth Mental Health.
Most of my research is on early psychosis, in particular kind of the health services that support the young people that we see.
And why is teenage...
So she's gonna look at understanding of materials and directions, content, depth,
Yeah, and
clarity in mechanics, and ethical use of sources.
So that's when we're most likely to see experience anxiety for the first time, experiencing depression, and psychosis.
I think the only source we use is the textbook and that website she gave us, right?
I did include another source
okay.
when I was talking about the ecological model for, I think it was question 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, what am I doing with my life? I'm out there. It's also a time when obviously people are taking risks for the first time, so they've got that autonomy a bit more.
So might be trying drugs for the first time.
Yeah, trying drugs, getting into risky sort of relationships. It might just be that your sleep's been disrupted so to such an extreme that you've kind of induced these psychotic experiences. So there can be lots of random things that make it feel like it's out of the blue, but often there are, little things along the way as well. So yeah, and you start to unpack that stressful experience or that traumatic experience, and you start to kind of make sense to your story of where it's come from. But also it can just, that the brain's complicated. We still don't really know where.
So should we go ahead and delete the questions? No.
Just like we're still, chasing.
I think she wants she wants us to include the questions, but to delete the directions. I'm not sure about the table or the image.
I've taken her classes over the summer, and she always she wants the questions removed and just wants the headers.
I had a team of psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers come to my house. I was pretty heavily psychotic, so
I think when she says remove my directions, that's referring to the questions.
Yeah, I think we should remove the questions, yeah.
But it didn't work for whatever reason. May have been just me or whatever, but the second psychiatrist gave me a different medication and that worked. And it took time to work, but I sort of relapsed again and again for that period. But it was about a month after that that I started slowly being normal Harry again. And then after that, I took the medication as a preventative.
And Harry stayed?
Oh yeah, she just wants us to have the headings and the prompts.
For about a full year before being advised to stop taking it.
It's not great medication to take if you don't need to take it. There's a lot of side effects. So yeah, while I was better, I went to university, not taking the medication. I was in my second year of uni and whatever, doing stuff. I thought that was done. And then 6 months later, I was just sitting at home watching TV with mum, and like my brain snapped, and I knew it at that exact moment. Deep down, I knew it was psychosis, but I didn't really want to believe it because I was done with it. And then my mum said, I need to go to the grocery store to get something. And I said, I'll go, because I thought maybe I'll just shake it off. Maybe this is not it. And I went for a drive. I have no idea how I got back home. It was within 10 minutes, completely psychotic again.
When you say your brain snapped,
Yeah.
I've heard people who had psychosis describe it like that before.
Yeah.
When you say that, what do you mean your brain snapped? What happened? What did you feel?
Great question. Can't answer it for you. When you're talking about complex mental illnesses, you're already talking about a mind that is not sane. And when you're trying to put normal terms on it, it's already wrong. It was my mind slipping, my mind feeling loose. I mean, it's a detachment from reality, right? And that's difficult to explain to someone who has never felt the detachment from reality. I think since COVID happened, it's easy for me to explain one of my symptoms. Physically, the one that's easier for me to explain to people who had COVID is the smell. I lost all of my senses physically.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't smell anything. I couldn't taste anything. I didn't eat anything for weeks. I lost 10 kilos in a week. Touch, when you're washing the dishes and you've got rubber gloves on, you can't feel, you can touch the stuff that you're cleaning. That's how I felt.
Okay, wow.
I couldn't regulate temperature. So I'd be in a room wearing 20 layers or none, and I had no idea. And I would sometimes wake up and not know if I was awake or not, because I felt more experiences and sensations and dreams than I felt in reality. And that was physically. But mentally, everything was wrong. Everything was playing tricks on me. I was not able to sort of believe what I was seeing. The perception that I had of reality was always wrong.
In one sense, this episode of psychosis was, I don't want to say easier to deal with, but maybe less frightening, because Harry knew what he was up against. He could tap into the same supports and treatment as last time. He knew who his psychiatrist would be. But in another sense, this episode was scarier.
I felt very vulnerable. I thought I was done with it. And this time it was like, this is the worst thing. The different part was, at least I knew what it was, and I knew what I was fighting, and I knew I could get better to that problems. But yeah, I felt very but in any event, I took the medication. I got better after about a month, and I took it for 2 years after that. And I've never had it again. It won't happen again, because it should have already happened again if it was going to happen again. It's been 10 years, and I've been taking the medication or anything, and I can't see it happening again.
When people experience psychosis, psychologist Dr. Ellie Brown says there are 3 main outcomes that can happen after treatment.
So they'll just have the first episode, and then they'll recover, and they'll be good, we'll have another episode. Then the third will go on to have another episode, and then come back on medication, get that right again, and then they're fine. And then the third is chronic need, I guess. Need to be on services and medication.
What influences would third you on who to fall into?
That's a big question. I've done very much research around risk factors. So that genetic predisposition around having family members that have psychosis or drug use is obviously we're seeing an increase in psychosis under starting ADHD medication or methamphetamine use or of course cannabis use. That drug-induced psychosis, so you stop drugs, you don't go back on, you don't create drugs again, and you're good. But sometimes you might have someone they're doing really well, and then they've gone along with like jet lag, disruptive sleep.
For years, President Donald Trump has taken aim at diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI.
How do you define DEI?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Policies that were absolute nonsense.
Will eliminate
Guys, so I have to get going. Um, I included everyone's names. Just double check that I wrote your names right. And then I think the references are okay. And then I tried to like fix any like grammar stuff. But yeah, I think it looks fine.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to do a cover pitch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do we supposed to remove that picture too, that free planet?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
¿Qué es eso? Lo voy por el línea. Ok. No, 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 no. Oh. Ok. Okay, yes, I have to get going and I'll be logging off, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
bye.
Whoever submits it, can you guys just forward the like the D2L receipt?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Just in
yeah.
case.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
Hi, I have a question regarding that newspaper article. So
Yeah.
you send me that document. So is this like a final document?
Yeah, one of the editors will go over it and give suggestions.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I would go over it. And then a
Okay.
copy editor goes over it for like format, newspaper
Uh-huh.
format. And then I just go over that. And then final editor, and then it gets published. So there are three
Okay.
editors in the processing.
You, me, and
What?
who are the editors?
No, we're writers for
Yeah,
this
the
article.
editors.
And then 3 editors will be looking at it.
Okay, all right. So yeah, just let me know if you need any help or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just confused by the other document you sent. Like I went off of the combined one. I was confused by the other one you sent.
So yeah, I wrote it like a different way. So I sent you 2 different things. So just make sure if you need something from them. So it's just like a draft thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I went entirely off of the combined one, and it looked good. I just did some minor little changes and added a little bit more from Aiden's codes.
Okay,
That's all.
all right. Yeah. Oh, great, perfect. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Wait, so are you submitting this or should I?
Yeah, you should submit this.
Okay.
Yeah,
it
but
looks
not
like-
today because we have
Not
to
today?
do the cover picture, right?
Cover page. Wait, we need a cover page. Actually, what she wants is she just wants the Google Docs link shared.
Oh,
in
that's
the
it,
D2
right?
assignments, and
Okay.
we can still go in and make changes.
Okay. So yeah, I think you should send it today. So it's
Yeah,
anything she needs to,
yeah.
you know.
Because
Yeah, okay,
we can
perfect.
still make changes to it too. So.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay,
Okay.
great.
So
Thank
I'll
you.
just go ahead
Bye.
and send it right now, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, just send it right now.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Bye.
Bye.